Hey guys, another episode of Dangerous Ideas. This is episode number 8. We made it to 8. My name is Shawn, and in this podcast, what we do is we break down concepts and frameworks that will change your life, change your business, your career, but most importantly, your life. We weave in current trending topics, but mostly we talk about concepts and frameworks that will change your life. And today, I'm really excited. We have 3 guests. We got 3 guests in studio. Return guest Mo. Want to say hello to the camera?
Thank you, Shawn, for having me again on this podcast.
Yes. First time ever. I'm really excited having Mazen in the mix. And we have Navin back
Appreciate you,
again.
man. Let's get it.
Okay, so gentlemen, I'm really excited to have you here. And in this podcast, what we do, Mazen, if you don't know, I break down a concept, and then I get us to riff on it. And in honor of Mazen coming here today.
Wow, I feel so special.
In honor of Mazen coming here today, I want to bring up a concept that I actually am stealing from your guys' show, that you and Kanto were having this debate. And the framework is this. The concept is this. It's the idea that you could make it anywhere. From wherever you are around the world, that you can make it here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. You could make it in Wetaskiwin, wherever you are, because now we live on a global stage. I mean, if you look at some of the best athletes, the best creators, the best CEOs, LeBron and Steph are both from Akron, right? Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, they're from India. You look at somebody like a Twitter celebrity like Chung Fan. He's from Calgary and he now lives in Vancouver. Like, you can do it from anywhere. And the conversation that you were having with another person, his name is Kanto. He's like an amazing rapper.
King K.
Yeah, eh?
He'll appreciate that one.
And you can let me know a little bit about that discussion. But I often hear people saying that you can't make it here in Edmonton. And in fact, early in my career, I had people telling me that you can't make it here in Edmonton. You got to move. You got to go to Toronto. You got to go to New York. And that was in my head for years, that I cannot make it here. I can only level up so much being here in Edmonton. And I think it was part of the pandemic that totally broke that mold for me, or broke that mindset.
Oh, wow.
That actually, I don't need to be in New York or Toronto.
Oh, wow.
I can be from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and do what I want to do in life. But maybe that's not the truth when it comes to music. Maybe it's not true when it comes to basketball. Tell me your thoughts all around this idea that you could make it anywhere, and disagree with me. Please disagree with me. Okay. And Mazen, I'm going to start with you.
Okay, 2 things. What an interesting topic, right? Isn't this such an? I'm not playing this up for the camera. I really do believe this is such an interesting topic because it could go anywhere. There are multiple valid ways that you can come about this thing. Now, for the sake of this conversation, I feel like somebody needs to play devil's advocate.
I think you should play devil's advocate.
It seems like you're going that
natural.
way.
I want to see Nat. I want. You don't have to play. I actually want it to be organic.
I don't want all of us to agree.
I think you can play. I think you can make it anywhere.
Yeah,
but
so here's the thing. I agree with you, but I can't fully
Why?
agree with you. Well, because first of all, because as a general statement, it can't apply to every industry. So
why?
Why? Okay. Can we make it as a YouTuber anywhere? 100%.
Yes.
Can you make it as a movie star in Edmonton? No.
Yes.
No.
Sorry. I mean, I agree with you.
No. Now, I don't make me the villain. Okay. I don't want to be the villain.
That's a valid point.
Okay.
I don't think you can make it as a.
You can't be a movie star.
You cannot be a movie star.
Yeah, but the film industry's not here.
Exactly.
So it's hard to make that
So
argument.
you can't
know
make
what I
it.
mean?
Okay.
You
Okay.
can't
If there was
make
a
it
film
anywhere.
industry in Edmonton, yeah,
fine.
you could make it here,
Exactly.
but it's not.
Exactly. So, like as singers and in that world, that's a little different, right? Than movie making.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could be
Movie
a singer
making-
and make it here.
Fine. Movie making is probably
Exactly.
a niche.
Yeah.
Okay.
niche.
What else?
As actors,
Music.
by the way.
Oh,
Well,
but people will be like, no, even in music, they're going to be like, no, you can't make it in Edmonton. So I actually disagree with them, but I can understand where they're talking about. So let's say you wanted to be one of those musicians where you're not just like doing your own thing and you're creating your own path, but you're kind of like involving yourself in all of these different things. So let's say you're a musician and you want to hop on somebody else's podcast in person. Okay, you got to make those trips out to wherever those popular podcasts are. You want to be in popular music videos, you got to go do that wherever it is. Now, if you want to do collabs and features, that could be done remotely. But, still, there's an element of being in the studio with somebody. So it's like you might need to go where those things are happening. You want to attend the Grammys, you're going to have to go to where the Grammys are. You want to, basically attend those parties. Like, Jamie Foxx talks all about, by the way, I hope he's doing good. But Jamie Foxx talks all about, like, these, like, popular parties that he used to have and all these networking events that, personally, I feel like I couldn't care less about. But you kind of have to care about them as a musician. So if you want to, like, be in people's faces, you're going to have to go to those places. So I could see it both ways as a musician, that you can make it here in Edmonton and also possibly that you may need to move.
Yeah. On top of that, I think you can only make it using social media.
100%.
You can't make, as a musician, like, if you're not leveraging social media, then yeah, you're not making it in Edmonton.
Well, on that
in
note,
Edmonton,
Yeah.
I was about to disagree with you hardcore.
In Edmonton.
What
in Edmonton.
what
Because that's the
create-
question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's today. Like, what creative field can you? There is no creative field today that you can do without social media. It
You're
has
right.
become the standard.
There needs to be some level of social media, but one of my favorite artists, his name is Frank Ocean, very well known for being elusive, extremely elusive on social media. But no, he's very elusive, and he did not build his audience based off of, putting out the albums and putting out the hits and the whatever. He built it off of being elusive.
But there hasn't not been one artist in the last 5 years. Frank Ocean is beyond 5 years. There hasn't been an artist in the last 5 years
Okay.
that has become anything without social media. It's impossible.
Without being, you're right.
You could
But
have an
what-
industry, they're called industry plants, right?
Ah,
Like somebody,
yeah.
there hasn't been an industry. Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
No, Kanto has a song.
Well, he has a song called "Industry." By the
Yeah.
way, it's I believe it's out now. You should go watch it. Go.
Yeah, what it talks about this concept.
Okay,
Actually,
Nat,
mix and match
what do
with
you
that
think,
one.
man?
Well, I think we're all saying the same thing, just in circles. It's like growing, like back in the day. I agree. I would agree with that statement. But now, because of social media, you can do anything you want, be whoever you want, because of social media. It's the only tool that we have that allows you to step outside no matter where you live. Think about all the TikTok people that went viral during COVID.
Right.
They don't live in LA and New York. They're living in random towns, filming a video on a black wall. You don't know where they live.
Yeah.
Oh, and it
they're
doesn't
popping
matter
off.
where they live.
yeah.
Actually,
So let me ask the secondary question. Why hasn't somebody from Edmonton broken out? Because I am always confused as to why in Toronto they've been able to pump out some of the biggest, most influential people on the planet. Shawn Mendes, Justin Bieber,
Yeah.
Weeknd, Drake. This is on the music side.
you're talking on the music.
I'm
side.
talking about
from
like
music side.
YouTubers like
There's
like
a lot of there.
Lily Singh or
A lot
you
of
know what I
names.
mean? Like
Yeah,
Peter
Unbox
McKinnon.
Therapy.
we, like
Peter McKinnon,
we
yeah.
have a million
Peter
people
McKinnon.
in this city.
Right.
And I don't want this is like for those of you who don't know, like we live in this city called Edmonton, Alberta. Like we haven't had a breakout.
Okay, well, let's first. I know this is a different industry, but let's give praise to Alphonso Davies. He did break out,
Athletics,
right?
Yep.
Athletics. Yeah, but even just imagine the odds of that.
No, I totally.
An athlete from Edmonton.
100%. Davies is the GOAT.
Bro, he's playing in Bayern Munich.
Yeah, he's huge.
100%.
He's huge.
One
He played in
Champions League.
Qatar.
100%.
He played in Qatar.
Bro,
Like, that's
the
crazy.
mic, man, the mic.
I know. It's crazy.
we do have one person who broke
But that's what
out.
I'm saying. It's sad sitting here talking about how we have one person.
It is that. But if you think about
I
it,
choose to see it as it's good.
if you think about it though, pre-Drake, Toronto was like a ghost town.
Well, I mean, they were
yeah,
mostly
you're right.
Canadian, Cardinal, Maestro.
Yeah, it was old
like,
school
I'm
guys.
saying hip hop.
I mean, like I'm
Celine
saying
Dion.
that with like a very.
Celine Dion? Really?
Is she from Toronto or Ontario?
Montreal.
Oh, Montreal.
Okay, Montreal.
Yeah,
Okay.
Right?
That makes sense.
nearby,
That makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
And by the
Yeah,
way,
yeah, yeah.
I am painting in very broadly, but
Yeah.
what I mean in terms of a global impact, pre-Drake, it was like people were like, I need to move out of Toronto to make it.
Bro,
Like when I go to
Yeah.
LA, when I go to like New York.
100%.
then-
All these keyboard warriors, he's right.
Yeah.
He's right.
So in a way, and look what it took. It took Drake to leave,
Yeah.
and come back and like actually make it. And the problem with Edmonton is no one's gonna do that and create that creative hub for us. Like people are always gonna be like attracted to go to more cooler cities like Toronto, Vancouver, LA, or New York. But I love what Mr. Beast is doing. He's like, yeah, I'm setting up in North Carolina.
Totally.
Got
So
that shit
in a
real
way,
estate.
it shifts a lot of the young generation's mindset to be
Yeah.
like, you know what, it's way cheaper, and we're attracting talent here, and we're gonna build this like amazing things. But yeah, from a music point of view, I feel no matter what, musicians in general, once like they have some sort of status, they also want to go and experiment, and they want to like live life in a way to like talk about new things they want to like sing about or rap about or whatever. And Edmonton is not really the spot,
Yeah.
in my opinion, that like you build that kind of lifestyle. But it'd be great if you do bring it back and create that synergy, that creative hub, and all of a sudden people are like, "Whoa, we're building culture here from Edmonton, Alberta." And I think
So
Maybe this is
do
us.
you have to leave? Do you have to leave the city in order to
As a
get the love
musician?
back? And actually, sometimes I feel the same way. It's like I gotta leave. I have to make a bigger impact in the States before I get the love back from Edmonton.
Yeah.
Generally
this is a
speaking, yes.
very hard pill to swallow, but I think I do agree with that. And let me spin it in a different direction to help you understand. It is kind of like validation, right? So when you get the Netflix deal,
Yep.
now it's like, oh, you're on Netflix. It's like a certification. It's like a validation. Then people will really start to pay attention. You know how many times that I've heard like people be, oh, you're still in Edmonton? Oh, you're still doing your Edmonton
I
thing?
get that all the time.
Yeah,
oh,
same. I
so
still get
now
that
it's just
too.
synonymous. You're still in Edmonton is synonymous where, oh, you're still in the little leagues. So I don't know at what point Edmonton is not going to be the little leagues anymore.
You know what's funny
And-
about that? We're all building on a on a global stage.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
how many times? Hold on.
Like you're the best keynote speaker on Forbes.
Fucking Forbes, bro. Yeah.
Our like documentary like is now like like
just-
Toronto hot
don't
dogs,
know.
and also
Yeah.
like but it's gonna be probably on a pretty cool streaming one. I can't drop that yet.
okay.
You're building the craziest thing in LA. Like, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh, like Edmonton. Like, yeah, well, so in a way,
Yeah.
like geolocation, in my opinion, is very like skewed. You can build it.
It's a stereotype.
It's a stereotype.
It's a big stereotype.
It doesn't matter where you are. I think at the end of the day, as long as you are building it, I don't know. I kind of maybe lost my train of thought here.
It's also why I'm
know.
excited that we're doing what we're doing because I think we can shift the narrative, right?
Yeah.
We have the opportunity to change the narrative because like all of us are leading that space in some different industry or some form.
Yeah. And just one more thing on this. Like, again, just you being a creative, let's say content creator, videographer. If you're like, oh, I'm an LA videographer, right? All of a sudden it's like, oh, whatever. You know how many times there have been LA videographers and my brother Mo had to teach them how to use a camera?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Just a flex.
we actually get that a lot.
So-
Be like, wow, I went to LA Film School, but you guys' stuff is so much better. And to us, we're like, oh yeah, I guess we are good because like you think we're from Edmonton, so we're not good.
Yeah.
So,
That's what it is. Yeah. That's all it is.
But it's like, no, we do compete on a global stage, and we just need
Yeah.
more opportunities to do those even bigger and, like bolder. Got it?
Yeah,
Bolder.
I love it. Hey,
Wow.
gold ones available everywhere. No, I know, I appreciate that, and I think just to cap it on this, I think the punchline is that we talked about, yes, you can make it anywhere, but you might have to leave. You might have to leave.
Yeah.
To come back,
Yeah.
get the love, and then
Depends.
build up the ecosystem. And I'm hoping that we become that beacon for other people around the city to create, right?
Yeah.
And
I do think it is kind of a case by case scenario.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Depends on the industry.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, yes, I agree
Okay,
with you.
great. Okay, let's move on to the second topic.
Yeah.
Great.
And the second topic is an interesting one because I've heard this entire life that you should find your passion. That you should find your passion. If you find out what you're passionate about and you double down on that, then ultimately you will find a market and you will able to monetize, financialize, etc.
Yeah.
Out of that. But the majority of people that are telling you to find their passion, they already made their billions selling toilets and Yellowknife. You know what I mean? They've already done something where they've already made their money, and then they go on somewhere and they do a commencement speech and they're saying to find your passion. And so is this a lie that we've been telling kids throughout their lives to find their passion? Because the reality is that you're probably not going to make money on it. I actually disagree with that. I think if you can find out truly what you are passionate about, and you can find something that is tangentially related to a particular market, that you could be successful in it and be the best in the world at it and actually make money in it. I think it is important to find your passion, but there's this like case that I'm hearing all the time now to not find your passion. So where do you guys stand on this?
I'm a big believer in like following your passions. I think all of us here have done that or doing that. On the flip side, I'm kind of curious, like if there's an example of what someone had said about that, because I don't get that. Because in today's day and age, I know like literally a kid right now that's 12 years old that does drop shipping that makes thousands. Like last month, they made $50,000.
But is he passionate about it?
He loves. Well, he became
metric.
passionate. First of all, he liked the idea of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You see people on TikTok. You see all these people posting. He's like, I want to have that opportunity to help my parents and myself. And then obviously, as money starts coming in, you start to learn more. You become more passionate as you're. I feel like you're a kid,
so
right?
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Just rapid fire.
Okay.
Would you fold clothes for $10 million or do something that you love for $250,000?
$250,000.
$250.
I have to ask. I gotta ask, bro. I gotta ask. Hold on.
Who am I folding clothes for?
No. Is it coming at the detriment of my health?
No, it's not.
Then yeah, do it.
10 mil?
Yeah,
Folding
because
clothes.
if I'm losing sleep over it, I think I probably wouldn't.
If it's contractual that I have to be folding clothes for 5 years, then definitely
No,
not.
for the rest of your life,
Oh,
you're
rest of
folding
your
Just
life.
folding clothes.
And you're
Right.
folding clothes. That's what you do.
That's your
your job.
That's your
That's
job.
your job.
Yeah, I probably.
Okay,
As long as I have the
Good,
choice
fair answer.
to not.
And I appreciate that because
Yeah.
I know I've met people throughout my life, and I actually respect that a lot. Their ability to not be passionate about what's in front of them, just to do that job, make money off of it, and just like get out. Like I actually appreciate that. I wish I had that muscle. I can't.
Yeah, I can.
I am driven by passion at the end of the day.
Oh, and by the way, I like I say yeah, but it's like. I do gotta think about it. It's quite a stretch to be like, yo, 10 minutes. You gotta think about it.
I was like, at the cost of, let's say, not you doing any of your passions,
Yeah, I mean,
like music, like editing, like.
I am open to the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm open to the idea.
Okay, so
He's hilarious.
This
man.
guy just threw a wrench at
He's
us.
so funny.
like
I'm
the
open
most
to the
creative guy,
idea.
the most creative guy sitting in here.
yeah, exactly.
It's just like.
Yeah. Thank you, by the way. But yeah, I'm open to the idea, because like. Remember that video that Robert, good friend of ours, Bobby T, he sent us that video of Casey's brother.
Oh yeah.
He was talking about I wish
It's
I
the biggest
could.
bullshit, like saying passion.
Yeah, he was saying like, don't do this thing because it's cool. Doing something because it's cool is the biggest lie of blah 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 blah. And I wish I could fully understand where he's coming from. I do kind of understand it. Like it's kind of like the idea of, like there was definitely a huge phase where everybody wanted to be an entrepreneur. Maybe it's less now. Perhaps it died down a little bit. People want to be an entrepreneur because it's what is it? It's like idolized. It's like being the new rock star kind of thing. So I understand it from that perspective. To like, let's not just try to follow the trend or whatever. But I got into filmmaking and music making because I found it to be cool.
Right.
And it is cool. And then it that's what it was for me early on. Like I didn't start to treat it as a form of possible therapy until later on in my life.
But yeah, and I think
what I mean?
Totally. And I think if I've actually just looked back at all of our careers, you guys started whether it's music or in
Yeah.
film or basketball, or you guys started your businesses actually on a passion,
Yes.
and now look what you are doing.
Yeah.
You are literally making money.
Yep.
and
Yeah, we
becoming
literally are.
globally
Yeah.
Oh, that's
seriously.
crazy.
and globally recognized on
Yep.
that scale, because of that. So, obviously
still think
I'm asking like 3 entrepreneurs, like,
Right.
should you follow your passion at the end of the day? So it's probably a bad.
Hey, no, but I played a little bit of a little bit devil's
Yeah, no,
advocate.
that's good, that's good.
On a final note, I do agree with you, though. It is like a big weird thing to say, because when I was at VCon and you see all these speakers who you think like are like, they figured it out, like you still feel like I haven't made it. You almost feel inferior when you're in the stand and not when you're listening to those people.
Yep.
And then you're kind of like, what you're telling me is nothing new. Like,
Right.
Like
Exactly.
what you're telling me is nothing
Most
new.
people
Like
can't,
in
yeah.
a way, like if anything, I'm just not executing enough.
Yep.
And I'm just behind. That's it.
So this is the next framework, and I've been talking about this a lot, that there are going to be 2 companies in the future, 2 types of companies. There are going to be companies that are fueled by generative AI and companies that don't exist. And the reality is that this is the next paradigm shift. This is the next sort of exponential tech. And my question to you guys is that, listen, I believe this to be the truth. I'm looking at your guys' heads and saying, okay, yeah, this is probably the truth. But what businesses do you think are completely untouchable when it comes to generative AI? Because I don't think there is. Because if you think
I
about
don't know if there is.
back office, front office,
Yeah, no.
like
Everything I think is up.
there's every business will have.
Hold on. So
AI.
are you saying is there a business that just completely is
Or just roles.
untouched, like
just
just
roles.
not even
That,
or,
that
sorry,
can't have
roles?
that can't even get value from using generative AI. It's impossible.
Yeah, I think it's
can't find
I
impossible.
think it's impossible because look how many every day there's like 100 new tools that
Well,
come out.
just number one, literally 100% of people can benefit off of Chat GPT because it's like another human, and you're just having a conversation with another human that could spit out ideas, and that could literally apply to everybody. So
Yeah, 100. That is true. That is true. But which jobs do you think over the next 20 years are at this point kind of untouchable right now in terms of AI replacing their jobs? Which jobs do you think is fundamentally like a barber?
Literally, I
Yeah,
was just
barber.
gonna say
Yeah.
barber.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
Alex,
talking to
shout out
Alec
to
about
Alex.
this the other day. I was literally telling him, I was like, yo, you think you're gonna have robots in here one day? Because you'd be the first guy to do that.
Definitely.
Because he just like thinks differently.
I actually told Alec that the 2 people that are not going to get disrupted by AI yet are barbers and personal trainers. Like, yeah, you can get a personal trainer virtually, but you really need somebody like
a lot of people need that
Or-
person.
yeah, like
there.
Yeah.
or sorry, not it was a personal train. Owning a gym, everybody will still want to go to the gym. AI,
No, you can't replace that.
you can have gym, you can have a weight, you can have weights
Yeah.
in your house.
Well, like
I
doctors.
can- no,
Doctors won't be disrupted.
I see it more for
Hospital,
personal trainers.
anything like
Some doctors will be
Doctors
Some.
will be disrupted. I think. I think general family health or whatever it's called.
Right. Oh,
family doctors, they'll be
like a
disruptive for
GM or
sure.
Yeah,
whatever.
but like,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
would,
yeah.
You be, would you be comfortable like talking to your doctor like an AI doctor or a real doctor?
if I
do.
if an AI can scan me and then I can send back
Oh,
the
yeah.
data back
I mean,
to the
then
Then
AI.
why can't a barber? Why can't you do that with barbers?
You can't.
That
I
doesn't
saw.
make
I
sense.
did
No,
see
give
some
you the fade,
videos.
though. You need the fresh
I did.
fade.
Yeah, no, you can. Come on.
No, I did see a
that's
video.
healthcare.
I did see a video of somebody getting a fade from a robot.
Really?
But
I saw a guy.
That's the future.
I saw a
that's
guy. He
weird.
was like, "Can I do it? Can I make a robot that can cut my hair?" And then he tried to do it, and it's like, the point was it's not there yet. But like maybe it was just him.
at this point, I'm saying the next 20 years. Like,
Yeah.
at least the barber, I think, is safe,
I was gonna say
and
maybe.
the gym owner is safe.
I think there's a lot more than we
Hold
think.
on.
I
Yeah,
think
of
things,
course.
things
There's a
like
lot
car
more.
mechanics and those like
Yeah.
small, like
Yeah,
yeah, a
like,
lot of
there's a
small
lot
stuff.
more.
But
What about hospitality?
Hospitality is an amazing industry. Owning a hotel is going to be amazing.
Like event space.
Event space is going to be amazing. Running a
Yeah.
conference
Getting-
is gonna
yeah.
be amazing.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more than we.
So I
than
was
we
gonna
think
say
about
with a
it.
personal trainer, like I think that is untouched because at the end of the day, like I learned how to squat by trial and error, I guess. But there are a lot of people that would be like, no, like I would rather you.
It's not
tell
about the
me how
teaching;
to-
it's about the accountability. It's actually having a human there.
a
being
lot of people
like,
need that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I need.
Right, I guess that's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
more important.
Yeah.
See, like for me, I'm thinking like like how do I do this thing correctly? How do I whatever? But yeah, but you
But
probably
you're
right.
a self starter. You can go to the gym
But
whenever,
wouldn't
right?
you say like, oh, I could just get an app to remind me?
Yeah,
No, but
it's
that's not
the same.
that's not the same. Yeah, that's not.
Being there with that person for that hour, you're locked in, right?
Yeah.
What percentage of your work today do you think is going to be replaced by AI? Because McKinsey just came out with a study yesterday that said 60 to 70%
Yeah.
of your job will be replaced by generative AI.
I was gonna say at least half. So that sounds right. 60 to
Half,
70.
okay.
Especially for what we do, everything's digital. I'm pretty sure the next thing I'm looking at is, can I get an AI clothing designer? Seriously, because clothing designers are the most expensive thing for us right now.
Interesting.
Well, I'm just thinking in terms of like editing, in terms of cinematography.
I have a train of thought with that.
Like
Go ahead.
AI is not gonna grab a camera and film.
Right, not yet.
0%.
But editing's coming though.
But on the flip side, I see what you mean. Like, can I prompt like a scene, whatever? But I can't. I have to prompt. Let's say I'm filming you.
Yeah.
I need a model of you, and then I need to like prompt it into do that. But then all of a sudden I'm disrupted. Like you can just do it yourself. Like why do I need to do that? But let's just say that. I think that's far from now.
Yeah, I think it's far
weird.
Too. I think there's a lot of things that will be completely
And there's a
eliminated,
whole
but-
thing between like understanding like is this Shawn AI or is this real Shawn on camera?
Yeah.
So there's like a whole dynamic to that as well.
AI, Shawn. Yeah.
So yeah, I feel AI is gonna be in every industry that exists in the world.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you on percentage, but I will say for editing specifically, if you're doing something in the vein of podcast editing, then it's already there. You already don't need like a very skilled editor. You can either get it like literally to be 100%, the AI is completely doing it and you're just not even touching it, or it's like the AI is doing 95% of it and then you just get somebody to just review it, kind of thing.
Right.
So that's already there. But if you're talking about editing movies, we're not there yet, and I don't know if it will ever be.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a hot take.
No, I think it'll get to the point where it cuts the workload. Like
Cuts the
you said,
workload.
it'll cut the workload and reduce costs maybe in half or something.
Yeah,
You know?
but see, I'm thinking like not to use this terminology, but I'm going to use it anyway. I'm thinking about like film editing, right? And I'm like, maybe I'm thinking about it in a very Web 2 way and not a very Web 3 way. So I'm thinking like an editor needs to be able to communicate with the director and get his vision and all this kind of stuff. And you need to be able to understand what was happening on the set day and whatever. And I'm like, but maybe those ideas are not even going to be there when that time comes. Maybe that's just the old way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm using the
totally
wrong
get what you're saying.
framework.
I totally get what
Someone's
you're saying.
gonna write a code for this. Trust me.
But
There'll be a code.
the way that it is now, it's not there, and I would argue that it would never be there. At least for the hardcore cinephiles, and even like the hardcore audio, whatever. Like, because a huge part of art is not just the art itself; it's understanding the story behind the art. The AI is not going to be able to come up with a
100%.
story, a meaningful story. Arguably, it will never be able to come up with that.
I'll see you in 20 years.
Well,
this
you know
is
what?
gonna
This is something that
happen
we
for
argued.
sure.
This is something that we argued in another episode
Yeah.
where we said, would AI, and we can bring it up again, which is will AI Drake or AI Kanye,
Oh yeah.
like would you go to an AI Drake concert?
Yeah, just to see it.
Yeah, AI.
Yeah, once. You would see it
One-time
once.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
You would, but then
If he's alive,
Just to see it, I'd
just
go.
once. But if he's dead, then
Oh yes.
yeah, that's different.
That's the thing. I've always said this, and we mentioned this one time. We were walking on our way to the AGA. I said that if there was a Pop Smoke show, a concert, I would go watch that Pop Smoke concert
right,
because I never got to watch him.
right.
I
Guys,
get
young.
some sort of an idea of what he's like.
Mostly
Rest in
because
peace.
he died early.
Correct.
That's why.
Well, he's
Yeah.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we never got to see his full potential. And I'm a fan, right? So I'm not saying like everybody's gonna go whatever. Like I'm a fan, and maybe this is a niche, right? But I'm a fan that never got to see him live.
Right. So, and then what about the music, the AI Drake music? Will you be listening to
Yeah,
AI Drake?
100%. Yeah,
you are.
Yeah,
I am
100%.
already, yeah.
Yeah, and we already like it's already been unlocked. I think there's a lot of potential
Yeah.
for artists to be making forever money off this technology. That to just have, they've already built their brand so huge, for them to live forever. It's just a more of a personal choice at this point to be like, do I want to live forever by having like my likeness and my identity
Yeah. Well-
post death.
well-
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, posthumous or whatever. Yeah. Well, Anderson .Paak already made that decision. He literally tattooed it on his arm or whatever. He's like, yeah, don't release any unreleased stuff posthumously.
Yeah.
He did not want that. So I bet you he'd probably be not a fan of like AI.
Yeah, he might change his
Anderson
mind.
.Paak. Yeah, he might change his mind. You're right. But even I changed my mind. I think I told you this once. I think I said, I don't think I would care about AI songs, AI artists. And then once I heard
Winter is cold.
I came in, what's the lead? Hey, bumping Justin Bieber, left or whatever. Or when it's cold, whatever. Once I heard that, I was like, yo, this is hard.
Yeah.
This is hard.
Yeah.
You know, but also I'm also a kind of.
And we all know that the artist, like there was an artist that was singing
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
not-
you.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
People don't understand.
It wasn't.
It's not like
Thank you.
AI. It's not like Drake. They put in a Drake text prompt.
Thank
Yeah, but
you.
no one knows
Somebody
that.
sung that song.
Exactly.
Nobody knows that.
There's been a big
But
misconception.
by that's how actual songs are written, right? Like,
Yeah.
like you will get a songwriter. Like, isn't that what like Trey Songz used to do or whatever?
A lot
Like,
of those guys.
lot of those
Everybody
guys.
they do it for Beyonce.
Frank
let me
Ocean-
let me sing this song.
Frank wrote for Justin Bieber.
Work,
People don't know that.
So
to me, if you work. That was Party Next Door.
Party Next Door.
Okay, so that song. Okay, like let's go to AI Drake "Winter Is Cold."
Yeah.
That song.
Okay.
Okay. Why aren't we listening to the original artist that sung that? Why are we listening to the AI Drake? Is it because of his voice is like that much better than this other person? Like the lyrics
Great
are not
question.
original.
Great
The
question.
beat is not original. Yet we're listening to the AI version. Why not the other dude that did it?
Yes. So there is a power. There's an influence to a voice.
Exact. It's the story of the
Yes.
voice.
There is
Yes.
a voice, and it is a fake voice, sure. But just like how optical illusions exist, I guess this is an oral illusion, right? So it's still tricking me to believe that this is what this is Drake saying.
So isn't that an incredible psychological innovation that somebody that literally made the same track
Yeah.
and it's probably really good that
Yeah.
you're gonna listen because Drake's voice has been hardwired in your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you're gonna like that a little bit more. It actually
Yes.
shouldn't make sense.
This is
Yes, and this is why labels are gonna be copywriting voices. You know, you can't use this voice. It's
Right.
probably already exists.
but that song. But see, like if you heard that song today,
yeah.
and let's say Drake actually sung that song, and
Yeah.
Drake was not Drake, you'd be like, yeah.
Wait. What?
Yeah.
I guess
If
if,
Drake
you
what?
heard that song, look,
Yeah.
if you heard
He
that
didn't know
song
Drake.
Yeah.
and you didn't know who Drake was,
Right.
He wasn't
and
popular.
you heard and he wasn't popular, and
Yeah.
you heard that song,
Yeah.
you'd
It'd
be
be
like, oh,
average.
this-
It
It'd be
wouldn't be
average
the same.
song.
This
It'll be an
would
average
not
song.
be the same.
It's,
Oh, yeah,
it's
you're right.
because of like
You
the
know his-
history.
exactly,
It's
you know his
because
voice.
he actually like Drake is #1 like artist in the world probably. Like they're you literally.
It's actually Ice
Well,
Spice,
actually, it's
but-
funny when this whole technology. Who is it?
Wow.
Who is
I
it?
was just saying it's actually Ice Spice.
Oh.
Wow.
When this technology came out, the first artist that people were using his voice was Kanye. The second artist
Yes, that's
was
right.
Drake.
Let it
You're
be
right.
known.
Okay,
Literally the first two artists.
I think
No.
that's the first thing that came up on your screen.
No,
okay?
No. Let it be known.
The first popped off like because they used Kanye's voice to like sing over like Justin Bieber song and Frank song and other songs, and all of a sudden they used Drake. Because I mean, bro, we all know this. Drake and Kanye, two most popular things. But I want to use an example that Mazen he was singing earlier, "Work, Work, Work," which is like Rihanna and Drake. Party Next Door wrote the song. It's actually that song you can find it online.
Yep.
But then it was given to Drake and Rihanna. I'm not sure who took the one. I'm not sure on whose album
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
on.
I think it's Rihanna.
But that's the same technically
Yeah.
from an AI point of like. So if you did it on an AI, like Party Next Door was
Very
already an
different.
established artist. Like
Yeah.
it's not like he was like a whatever artist, but clearly it was like, no, if we give it to Drake and Rihanna, it's gonna perform way bigger and way better.
Yeah.
You know, than like if Party did it.
Yeah. I've heard that before.
Right,
where-
and then now it's the same thing. We're here. We're seeing it like real life in all these artists. I think artists should actually use it as a platform to build like their catalog in a way, or like their their subscribers or followers to be like I'm a singer songwriter and disclose that they're like just using his voice of what it would sound like, and then maybe build an audience from there.
To summarize on that point,
It's a hot
I think
topic.
We consume stories. We eat stories. We listen to stories. When we're listening to AI Drake, we know Drake, and because of the story of Drake. When we go to a Michelin star restaurant, if you could serve that same Michelin star restaurant to like a corner restaurant right here, you'd be like, yeah, this is pretty good. But when you have it at the Michelin star restaurant, you're like, damn, this is the best thing I've ever ate in my life. We love story.
Oh yeah.
And at the end of the day,
Is that why people go to Salt Bay's restaurant?
That's why people go to Salt
That's
Bay.
for the experience and the clout, for sure. That's it. That's it.
So we just, it goes back to the idea of story and how powerful it is, and that actually brings me to the next topic.
Let's go.
Which you guys know of because we've been doing these keynotes and I've been talking about it. But it's the idea of Memetic Desire.
Yeah.
It's the idea that human beings, we don't come up with our own desires. We imitate the desires of other people. That it's the idea that we don't actually come up with our true desires. We're just like looking at something. We're looking at a particular model of something, and we're like, I want that because you see it somewhere. An example of this is like I just finished. I said this on the last pod, but like I just finished Arnold Schwarzenegger's documentary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
just
totally
started that.
recommend everybody watching it because
Oh,
Arnold
yeah.
is unbelievable. But it's funny because he saw this guy whose name was Reg Park. I think his name is Reg Park. He was Hercules in a particular movie. And he was basically a bodybuilder that got into this Hercules movie. And Arnold was sitting there and he was like, oh my God, like this guy, he had all these girls running up to him. He looked shredded. And that became his model of him actually getting into bodybuilding. That became the model of him actually getting into acting is because he saw this guy somewhere and he was like in awe of it. And, that dictated his journey throughout his life.
Yeah.
And so that was a desire that he copied and pasted, and then he built on himself. So I love to know consciously or subconsciously what are some models that have really sort of influenced you. You're like, oh, that is really cool, and that's why I'm on this track right now. Or maybe you can't like pinpoint it, because I think that's the part of Memetic Desire is that sometimes you can't pinpoint why you are in the spot today or why you like what you like today. You can't put it to something. Is there something that you guys can think of?
Oh man.
This is the first time I'm hearing this. It's actually, you always bring up really interesting.
Yeah,
like,
this is
There's a
beautiful.
concept of
Topics and
framework that will
concepts?
change your life.
Man,
yeah.
I would. I can start it off briefly, and maybe I'll piggyback off of these guys. I think for me, as an artist, filmmaker, I have many inspiration that I've draw to. Like I've probably seen so many stories that you just feel like they feel larger than life. Like you feel like, wow, like who created this? Like you start diving deeper into their brain of why they're doing this, and then you start like, in a way, like I want to be that. Like I want to create that. And even on the YouTube level, like when Casey Neistat came out, I was like, dude, I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah.
All I was doing was consuming. I wasn't creating. I was just like it felt so attainable. Like you can just like, I can easily do that. Like sometimes filmmaking seems a bit like out of reach. Because you're like, wow, like how do you even enter there? How do you, I need the gear, I need the story, I need like whatever. And then, but like YouTube kind of feels like that. Yeah, but like there's like many different people, artists from like Casey to like even Christopher Nolan to like even Hans Zimmer. I'm not a musician, but like I envy the guy of how he thinks and the way he comes up with music, and when you like dive deeper into his things. So like I'm not trying to be him, I'm more trying to be more of the filmmakers. Anyways, I'm gonna end that and pass it along.
Bro, literally Hans Zimmer, I think his studio is like a floating room. The room they built it so that it's floating. It's so wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, okay, so
Memetic Desire.
yeah, I'm gonna try to answer this as succinctly as I can. Okay. So the other day, maybe it was yesterday, I think, my brother was telling me about this show called Drops of God. Drops of God?
Drops of God. Yeah,
Drops of God. Okay. So he's like, have you ever seen this show? I'm like, no, never heard of this show. He's like, you should watch the trailer. I'm like, okay, sure. My interest level at this point is at about, when I saw the title, no. When I saw the title, it was at like 50%. I saw the trailer. As I'm watching it, it's about like these people about wine or whatever. My interest dropped to like a 10. I'm like, it's a show about wine. Like, I don't know. What is this? Then he told me, yo, it's actually based off of a manga. And my interest level rose to like a 90. I'm like, a manga? I'm like, okay. I'm looking up the manga. Never heard of it. And then I thought to myself, number one, why did I care so much? And number two, if this show was an anime, would I watch that instead of the quote unquote live action? And then I think I realized, yeah, I probably would. And I was like, well, why? And then now this kind of ties back to what we were talking about. I guess subconsciously, I will probably always be influenced or use anime as an inspiration because it's been there early on in my life. I've been into anime before it was more popularized and more accepted. I've always loved that it's just it's not in the mainstream. It's a different medium. And sure, you can call me like, oh, you're one of those guys. You know, I was there before it was cool. And it's like, yeah, I'm sure there were people older than me, you know, back when it was, I wasn't into Berserk or whatever, but like, you know, people were into, anyway. So
yeah, you're going on a tangent there.
Sure, I know I am. But anime is one of those things that because it's off the beaten path, I probably will always use it as like a thing that I identify with. So because it's so heavily a part of my identity, it's just always going to pique my interest. If I see something that's inspired by anime, I'm going to be more interested.
But how does that like relate to Memetic Desire? Like in terms of like, do you use that as a goal to create for your own?
Yeah. So Memetic Desire, the idea that you're either A, for lack of a better word, a sheep, or B.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
But you were saying something else earlier. You were saying there's an example you were giving about how somebody was using something about an inspiration or whatever. No, Arnold, right? Yeah. So Arnold, right? So that's how he got into basically like movies and stuff because of bodybuilding, right? So anime, it's like a medium.
He
saw somebody that was a bodybuilder that
and then
became Hercules in a movie,
Right.
and he was like,
right.
I want that.
Right. Sorry, yeah.
I want that life.
Yeah.
Right. So in a similar fashion, I think I can draw a parallel how I see very well made and well done anime. And I either not necessarily want to do that, but want to take aspects of it and use it in my work, just like Michael B. Jordan did in Creed, which those are my favorite parts of the movie. It was kind of a slow movie, but like the fighting parts.
Very slow movie.
But the fighting parts were hard. And I don't care if you disagree with that.
No, they are hard, yeah.
They were really well done.
Yeah, that's a good way to. I don't know if you watch Creed, but they use the anime.
Creed 3, by the way.
Yeah, Creed 3. They use anime to do that. So in a way, yeah, it relates back to why.
Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't use it. He just was inspired.
Inspired by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
I think a lot of stuff for me is subconscious, probably.
Yep.
I feel like
Like you saw it, entrepreneurs or you basketball.
Yeah, I feel like on the flip side, I've definitely create my own desires. I think like my mental is strong enough to do that. It's like I know what I.
That's actually against Memetic Desire. Memetic Desire is the idea.
I get that.
You cannot create your own desires.
And I get that. So I'm saying that I've created my own desires. I'm not fully agreeing with this one. So like I feel like.
Oh wow.
That's why I said I think it's subconscious, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to take it. So it's like I feel like I've definitely created my own desires, but as things have gone on, I've read Shoe Dog, Phil Knight.
Yeah.
I go to LA and I step outside of Edmonton. Like everything changed for me.
Right.
I meet some of my friends who are now doing crazy millions of dollars of deals in brands and clothing, all this kind of stuff. Like now
it's subconscious.
It's subconscious. But I feel like when I first started, I don't think first I've never heard of Memetic Desire. So when I was younger, I feel like I created my desires. I know what I wanted to attain, but over time, subconsciously, all this stuff is impacting even my brother. All this stuff is impacting my life. I'm seeing how these guys live.
Yeah,
it's changing me.
The one of the examples that I use is the idea that like this is just innate in human beings. It's like you know, like even in kids or babies, like you can stick out your tongue and the baby will sort of mimic you in some sort of way. Like we're
Yes.
always sort of miming each other, and it's just like it's totally just innate.
I have something to just launch off of that. I think very commendable, and I don't find that hard to believe at all, because here's the thing. Like, if we think about this as if you're a human in a vacuum, you will never know what you like because you're in a vacuum, right? And then there's an idea where it's like, oh, there's no such thing as originality anymore. You know, all this stuff is whatever. Well, I think originality is just an amalgamation of the things you like. So
keep talking.
okay, I think originality is just an amalgamation of the things you like. So when you say that you like whatever, like you know what you like, or you create your own memetic desire, that's really just he has found a good combination of all the things that he likes, and has combined it to form his identity. And that I
guess the idea of memetic desire is that you only like it because somebody else likes it. Do you know what I mean? You only like it because it's already come up that somebody else in your life that you valued or whatever likes that thing. That's why you like it. So
yes,
anyway,
it's interesting to me. I don't fully believe in that.
Okay.
But I don't really know how to expand on it further, because that's my first time hearing it, to be honest.
Well, hold on. I do believe in that. I think that's totally true. I think how many people just like Drake because he's Drake? Like, how many people like artists because they're just
but I think
we like Drake because subconsciously he maybe reminds us of somebody, or because he's on the spot. Like, it's just there's a million different things as to why.
Right, but there's a lot of people that bandwagon onto artists.
Yeah.
It just happens all the time. So I do think it exists. I don't think it applies to everybody. So
interesting.
For me, I will say for me in music, that notion does not apply to me. It's actually the opposite. If somebody's popular, I'm like, okay, now I like, you really got to try extra hard for me to like hop on your whatever. So like, for example, Adele is one of the biggest artists, right? When I heard Easy on Me, I fell in love with it. For whatever reason, maybe it was the lyrics, the melody or whatever, I fell in love with it. And I'm like, yeah, it's like my favorite song that Adele has ever done. And it probably might be the best song she ever will do. And yeah, I don't care that she's a huge artist. It's just the song is that good.
Yeah. Well, so for me, I think you sometimes don't even. By the way, memetic desire can be a hindrance too, in the sense that it can get you caught up in things that you shouldn't be doing. So, for example, one of the things that I got caught up when early on is that part of the reason why I went to university, I got into business, I got into accounting, is I saw a lot of people that were like, you know, they got a job right away, they were successful, they were part of a crew, they're part of this like thing. And like, I feel like I wanted that for I don't know, for no reason whatsoever. But it's like I saw other people do that, and I'm like, I kind of want to do that too. But then later on, you're like, why am I doing this? I don't. So that could be a negative thing as well.
Yes. Well, isn't it also? Correct me if I'm wrong. The idea, the thing you say, what will people say?
Yeah.
Right? So talking about all these people, like, what will other people say? So it's kind of like following off the trend. Obviously, we have immigrant parents, so. The idea of getting into school because this is what my parents wanted me to do, and then you start embracing that, and that's part of it, right? Doesn't that directly tie in?
Yeah,
I think it's completely related.
So it could prevent you from doing things, and it could also change your life. I remember, as a kid watching Chris Rock, and I'm only subconsciously I can maybe connect the dots right now.
Yeah.
But I used to watch a lot of stand-up comedy when I was a kid. Just put it on channel 41. And then one day,
you remember the channel?
Yeah, and then one day I saw Chris Rock's special, and it was a spiritual experience. I've never seen somebody move a room like that. I've never seen somebody just like fuck with people's minds like that. And I'm like, and I look at what I'm doing today. I'm like, that's what I'm trying to do. Wait a minute, maybe that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
I'm trying to fuck with people's minds and move a room like he did. I don't know. Maybe that was the connection, but it certainly was a big impact watching that as a kid. So, memetic desire. Anyways,
it's huge. Yeah, it's huge.
I got a whole bunch of other topics, but I'm gonna save this for the next spot. I just want to thank you guys. I just want to thank you guys for coming on Dangerous Ideas. Before I sign off, by the way, Mazen, I want to ask you, what do you think of the concept Dangerous Ideas, concepts and frameworks that will change your life? Just the idea, the concept of the pod.
We need it.
Whoa!
There you go.
Boom.
Signed off right
Flip
there.
that. Let's go. We need it. Absolutely. I
There you
like it.
go.
I like it. We need it. We need it. So
I was
listen,
trying
if
to be succinct.
if you haven't subscribed yet to the pod, I encourage you to do so. Follow, rate, review, whatever you got to do. Dangerous Ideas. This was episode 8. We are coming in hot. Episode 9, 10 coming soon. Thank you so much.